The long corridor of the medical station was quiet. Machines hummed softly, lights blinked on and off, and the smell of metal and medicine filled the air. The doctor walked slowly, checking his records on a small tablet. He was used to silence. Patients rarely came here. Only serious cases from faraway planets ever reached this cold space hospital. But tonight, something felt wrong. He paused. A sound touched his ears. Faint, soft, almost like the air itself was speaking. At first he thought it was only the hiss of the oxygen pipes, but then he heard it again, a whisper. His heart beat faster. He turned his head toward the sound. The whisper came again, shaky, weak, and filled with pain. "It hurts," the doctor froze. His eyes scanned the empty corridor. There should be no children here. No family quarters, only patients in need of surgery, and even they were silent under heavy drugs. Then another voice. Small, fragile. "We're hungry." The doctor's breath caught. Two voices. Two children. But where? He moved quickly now, following the faint whispers. His footsteps echoed against the steel walls. At the end of the corridor stood the old storage room. No one used it anymore. Its door was half open, the light inside broken and flickering. The doctor pushed the door slowly, his hands trembling. Inside, two small figures sat on the floor, two little girls. Their bodies were thin, almost skin and bone. Their clothes were torn, dirty, and not made of any fabric he recognized. Their eyes glowed faintly in the dim light, large liquid eyes that seemed both human and not. They looked up at him. One girl held her chest, coughing hard, as if breathing itself was painful. The other clutched her stomach, tears rolling down her cheeks. "It hurts," the coughing girl whispered again. "We're hungry," the other repeated, her voice cracking. The doctor's hands shook. He had seen many alien species in his career. He had treated beings with 3 hearts, creatures that lived on gas instead of food, and bodies made half of metal. But never had he seen this. He stepped closer, carefully. "Who are you? Where are your parents?" The girls did not answer. They only looked at him with wide, pleading eyes. Something inside the doctor stirred, a feeling he had not felt in years. Pity, fear, and a strange sense of duty. He bent down and touched the sick child's forehead. Her skin was burning, but her pulse was weak. "Don't be afraid," he said softly. "I will help you." He lifted the smaller girl in his arms, and the other clung to his coat, refusing to let go. They were so light, as if they had been starving for weeks. He carried them out of the storage room and into the medical bay. The machines came alive as he placed the children on the bed. Blue light scanned their tiny bodies. The doctor adjusted the controls, his heart pounding with every beep. The screen showed strange results. Their blood was unstable. Their organs were weak. But there was something more. Something impossible. The doctor frowned. His hands flew over the controls. He ran the scan again. The image sharpened, and then his breath stopped. Inside their small chests were lungs, but not like any alien lungs he had seen before. These were human lungs, or something very close. The doctor stared at the screen, his mind racing. Humans were gone. Extinct. At least that was what the galaxy believed. For centuries, the very mention of humans brought fear. They were called dangerous, unpredictable, too wild to live among the stars. The Galactic Council had erased them, banned even their memory, and yet, here on his table lay 2 children with human lungs. The girls coughed again. Their bodies shook. Their whispers grew weaker. Hungry, so hungry. The doctor quickly opened a food pack from the station. It was made for alien patients, thick, jelly-like, filled with nutrients. He spooned it carefully into the child's mouth. She gagged, her small body rejecting it. The other tried to swallow but spat it out, shaking her head with tears. The doctor's hands clenched. If they could not eat this, what could they eat? He thought quickly. Buried deep in the storage, he still kept old supplies. Relics from before the law banned all human things. A dusty container with preserved human food. His fingers shook as he opened it. A small piece of bread. Dry, old, but still safe. He broke it and placed it near the child's lips. The girl sniffed, then bit into it. She chewed greedily, her eyes wide with desperate hunger. The other reached out, crying until he gave her some too. For the first time, their whispers stopped. Their tiny bodies trembled with relief. The doctor sat back, staring at them in shock. His heart pounded in his chest. His mind filled with questions. Who were they? How did they get here, and why? Why did they have human lungs? He did not know the answers. But he knew one thing. This discovery could destroy him. For in this galaxy the law was clear. No human blood, no human life, no human memory must exist. And yet, here they were, two little girls, whispering, crying, and alive. The doctor's hands clenched into fists. He knew one truth in that moment. Whatever they were, whoever had left them here, he could not let the Galactic Council find out. Not yet. Not ever. The doctor did not sleep that night. His mind was restless, his eyes fixed on the glowing screen above the medical bed. The two little girls lay side by side, breathing weakly, their small hands curled like fragile leaves. The machines hummed, scanning every detail of their bodies. The results made no sense. Their blood was too thin, like water. Their cells broke apart faster than they healed. Their bones were fragile, as if time itself was eating them. But what shocked him most were their lungs. They looked human, almost perfectly human. The doctor rubbed his temples. Impossible, he whispered to himself. Humans are gone. Humans are only history. And yet here were two children coughing, trembling, and alive before his eyes. He tapped the screen again. The words blinked in red. Organ failure, lungs unstable. The smaller girl stirred, her eyes opening slightly. Her voice was dry, almost too weak to hear. It hurts. The doctor quickly adjusted the oxygen mask on her face. Shh, breathe slowly, he said softly. I am here. You are safe. But even as he spoke, he felt a heavy weight in his chest. Were they safe? Or had danger already begun the moment they appeared? The first test, he decided to test their healing. He pressed a small medical tool against the older girl's arm, making a tiny cut. Normally, alien children healed within seconds. Their blood-sealed wounds faster than humans ever could. But this girl did not heal. The cut stayed open. Small drops of blood formed. Her skin grew pale. The doctor's hands trembled as he quickly sealed the wound with a patch. He stared at the machine again. Their bodies were fragile, weak. It was almost as if they were not meant to survive, but why? Who would create children that could not live? The doctor paced the room, his mind racing. The hunger test, suddenly the younger girl sat up. Her eyes glowed faintly and she whispered again. Hungry? The older one joined her. Hungry? Please. The doctor opened another nutrient pack. Thick jelly poured into a small cup. Try this, he said, offering it gently. The younger girl took a sip, then gagged violently, coughing it all out. The older one tried, but spat it across the bed, shaking her head in pain. No, they cried together. The doctor felt his stomach twist. Alien food would not work, but he could not feed them human food either. Human supplies were forbidden. If anyone found out he even had them, his career, his life would end. Still, his heart could not ignore their eyes. He pulled out the small container again. Bread, dry, old, human. He broke it into small pieces. The girls reached out with trembling fingers, grabbing it desperately. They ate quickly, as if every bite gave them life. Their breathing slowed, their faces brightened. The doctor watched in silence. His heart pounded. He had the answer now. They needed human food. But in this galaxy, human food was a crime. The pain inside moments later, the older girl suddenly clutched her chest and screamed. The sound was sharp, painful, and filled with fear. The machine screamed with her. Red lights flashed, oxygen failure, lung collapse risk. The doctor rushed forward. He pressed buttons, adjusted the oxygen tubes, and injected stabilizers. The girl's body shook violently, her lips turning blue. The younger one cried out, clinging to her sister's hand. Don't leave me, please. The doctor's heart ached. He could not let this child die. Not now. He slammed his hand on the machine, forcing it into emergency override. Extra oxygen flooded her lungs. Slowly, the color returned to her face. Her body stopped shaking. She collapsed back onto the bed, unconscious but breathing. The doctor's hands shook with sweat. He whispered under his breath, "They are dying," piece by piece. The secret discovery, he ran the scans again, desperate for answers. This time he pushed the machine deeper beyond the lungs, into their hidden organs. What he saw made his skin crawl. Inside the girls' bodies were strange shapes, small implants, wires buried deep near their lungs. Not natural, artificial. His eyes widened. Who did this to you?" he whispered. The girls lay silent, too weak to speak. The doctor leaned back, breathing hard. Now the truth was clear. These were not normal children. They were experiments. Someone had created them, half human, half something else, and then abandoned them to die. He felt anger burn in his chest. "Monsters," he muttered. "Whoever did this, they are monsters." But his anger quickly turned to fear. If the galactic inspectors discovered these implants, he would be blamed. He would be executed, and the children erased forever. He had a choice: destroy the evidence, or protect them. The coming shadow. The station's alarm suddenly beeped. A message blinked across the doctor's screen. "Notice. Galactic inspectors will arrive soon." His blood ran cold. Inspectors, the most feared force in the galaxy. They punished without mercy. They hunted forbidden life, and now they were coming here. The doctor looked at the two little girls. Their faces were pale, their bodies weak, but their small hands held each other tightly. They trusted him. They believed he would save them. The doctor closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them again, his decision was made. "I will not let them take you," he whispered. "Not while I still breathe." But deep inside, he knew the truth. This was only the beginning, and the real danger was still on its way. The station was quiet again, but inside the doctor's chest there was no peace. He sat in the dark medical bay, staring at the two children as they slept. Their faces looked almost peaceful, but their breathing told the truth. Every breath was a battle. Machines hummed softly, showing red warnings he could not ignore. Their lungs were too fragile, their blood too weak, their bodies unfinished. The doctor leaned closer, his tired eyes fixed on the glowing scans. Again and again the results repeated what he refused to believe. Human patterns, human organs, human blood. He shook his head, whispering to himself, "It cannot be. Humans are gone. They were erased long ago. They were forbidden, yet here they were, two little girls who whispered of pain and hunger, two little girls who survived only on human food, two little girls who should not exist." He pressed his hand against the glass of the scanner. He could see the tiny implants buried near their lungs, hidden by whoever had made them. His mind replayed the warnings of the galactic law. Any trace of human life is forbidden. Any who protect it will share the same fate. The law was not a guide. It was a weapon. Those who disobeyed were erased without question. The doctor stood, his legs heavy as stone. He went to the storage room, locked the door behind him, and opened an old case hidden under the floor. Inside were relics from a time he should have forgotten. Data crystals of human history, medical records, banned knowledge. His hands shook as he slid one crystal into a reader. A voice filled the room, cold and mechanical. "Warning. This knowledge is classified. Humans were declared extinct by order of the Council, Cycle 97. He ignored the warning. The records appeared, images of humans, their bodies, their organs, their struggles. He stared at the old diagrams of human lungs. The similarity was undeniable. The children's lungs were almost the same. His mouth went dry. The truth hit him like fire. They were not just experiments. They were human, or something dangerously close to it. He closed the case and returned to the medical bay. The older girl stirred, her large eyes glowing faintly in the dark. She looked at him with quiet fear. "Where are we?" she whispered. "You are safe," the doctor replied gently. "This is a hospital. Do you remember how you came here?" The girl shook her head. Her small fingers clung to the blanket. "Cold place. Loud machines. They hurt us, then darkness." Her eyes filled with tears. "I don't want to go back." The younger one whimpered in her sleep, clutching her sister's hand tightly. The doctor's chest tightened. They were experiments, yes, but they were also children, innocent, helpless, alive. He lowered his voice. "Listen to me. You must never tell anyone what you are. Do you understand? If others know." He stopped himself. He could not tell them the truth, not yet. They were too young to understand death, extinction, and law, but he knew, and it weighed on him like a curse. The alarm on his console beeped suddenly, breaking the silence. A message scrolled across the screen. "Galactic inspectors, arrival in 6 hours." The doctor's blood ran cold. He looked at the girls again. They were fragile, coughing softly. unaware of the danger about to arrive. If the inspectors saw them, they would be taken, destroyed, erased, and he would be executed for protecting them. He pressed his hands against his face, torn between fear and duty. If he obeyed the law, he would hand them over. He would live, but their lives would end. If he disobeyed, he would lose everything, his career, his freedom, his future. The older girl spoke again, her voice trembling. "Doctor, will you leave us?" He froze. The question cut deep into his heart. Slowly, he knelt beside her bed and shook his head. "No, I will not leave you." For a moment, silence filled the room again. But in that silence, the doctor's choice became clear. He would not betray them, not to the law, not to the council. He leaned close, whispering a promise only they could hear. "You're not alone anymore. I will protect you." But even as he spoke, shadows of fear grew larger in his mind. For he knew the inspectors were not fools. They could smell secrets. They could tear open walls and drag truth into the light. He stayed by the girl's side, listening to their fragile breaths, knowing time was running out. 6 hours. 6 hours until judgment. 6 hours until the secret he held in his hands could burn down everything. The doctor's heart pounded. His choice was made, but the cost was still unknown. And somewhere beyond the cold walls of the station, ships of the inspectors were already on their way, cutting through the void like knives. The station lights dimmed as the night cycle began, but the doctor could not rest. His thoughts twisted like storm clouds. The inspectors were coming. Every second brought them closer, and the secret in his medical bay burned heavier inside him. He walked the narrow corridors, his ears filled with the faint sound of the girls breathing through the oxygen tubes. He stopped outside the room. For a long time, he simply listened. A soft cough, a whisper, the rustle of small bodies shifting in their sleep. They were fragile, like candles about to go out. Yet they had survived. Somehow they had survived cruelty and abandonment. The doctor pushed open the door and stepped inside. The older girl was awake, sitting up, her glowing eyes watching him. She held her sister close, who still slept with shallow breaths. "Are you afraid?" the doctor asked gently. The girl nodded. "They will come for us," his chest tightened. "Who will come?" She shook her head. "I don't know." White lights, cold hands. "They always came. They hurt us. We don't want to go back." The doctor's heart ached. He pulled a chair beside her bed. "You are safe here. No one will hurt you again." But even as he spoke, he knew it was not true. Safety was only an illusion. The inspectors could arrive at any moment, and when they did, no wall, no lock, no promise would protect the girls. He leaned forward. "Do you remember anything? A place, a name?" The girl frowned. Her eyes clouded as if struggling to reach back into broken memories. There was a room. Big machines. The air was cold. We heard voices, but we couldn't see their faces. They said numbers. They said, "We failed." Her small hands trembled as she spoke. "Then they put us in the dark." The doctor felt a chill crawl down his spine. Experiments. The girls were not born in love or family. They were made, tested, judged, and when they did not meet their creator's design, they were thrown away like broken tools. The younger one stirred in her sleep, coughing harshly. Her small chest rose and fell with painful effort. The doctor quickly adjusted her oxygen, his hands steady but his heart racing. He had seen lungs fail before. He knew the signs. Without help, she would not last long. He returned to his console, pulling up the scans again. The images of implants and failing organs glowed before him. He whispered to himself, "If I do nothing, they die. If I act, I break the law. Either way, their blood is on my hands." The older girl's voice broke the silence. "Doctor, and why are we alive?" The question froze him. He turned to her, meeting her glowing eyes. There was no fear in them now, only raw curiosity, as if she needed the truth to survive. "I don't know," he admitted softly, "but I promise you this, your life has meaning. You are not a mistake." For a moment, she simply stared at him, her small lips trembling as if she had never heard such words before. Then she lowered her head, holding her sister tighter. The doctor's mind raced. If he stayed in the medical bay, the inspectors would find them. He needed to hide them somewhere no one would look. Somewhere forgotten. He remembered the old cargo hold deep in the lower decks. Few visited it. Dust and shadows ruled that place. It might buy them time. Quietly, he lifted the sleeping child into his arms. The older girl followed, clutching his coat. They moved through dark halls. Every sound magnified in the silence, the hiss of vents, the hum of distant engines, the faint echo of their steps. The cargo hold loomed ahead, its massive doors creaking as he opened them. Inside lay broken crates, rusted machines, and shadows thick enough to swallow secrets. He placed the girls on a soft pile of blankets he found among the debris. "This place is hidden," he whispered. "Stay here. Do not make a sound. No matter what happens, do not answer if you hear voices." The older girl looked up at him, fear and trust battling in her eyes. "Will you come back?" He placed a hand on her head, his voice steady. "Always." As he turned to leave, the younger one coughed violently, her small body twisting in pain. The doctor knelt quickly, listening to her fragile breaths. Her lungs were giving out faster than he expected. Time was slipping away. He knew what he had to do. He needed to build something new, something forbidden. Artificial lungs designed from old human records combined with alien technology. If the inspectors found out, it would mean death. But without them, the child would not live to see another sunrise. The doctor rose, his eyes hard with resolve. He would not let the galaxy's law decide the fate of two innocent children. He would fight it, even if it destroyed him. As he sealed the cargo doors, the station trembled faintly. Far away, engines roared. The inspectors were close now. Their ships cut through the void, carrying judgment and death. The doctor hurried back to the medical bay, his mind already racing with designs and calculations. Every second mattered. Every choice was a gamble. And in the darkness of the cargo hold, two little girls held each other tightly, whispering soft prayers into the shadows, hoping the doctor's promise was true. The doctor worked with trembling hands, the hum of the medical bay louder than ever in his ears. Every beep of the machines reminded him of time running out. The younger girl's lungs were collapsing faster than he expected. Each breath she took was shallow, painful, and filled with a soft wheeze. Her sister sat beside her, holding her hand, whispering words of comfort that only children could give. He stared at the scans on the screen, the images of ruined lungs and twisted implants. They were breaking down inside, their bodies rejecting what had been forced into them. If he did nothing, she would die. But if he tried to fix her using forbidden knowledge, the inspectors would know the moment they arrived. They had sensors that picked up every unauthorized tool, every illegal piece of tech. Still, he could not let her die. The doctor opened the secret case once more. Inside, buried under dust and years of silence, lay the forbidden crystals. Human knowledge, old medical designs, secrets the galaxy had sworn to erase. His hands shook as he fed one into the reader. The display came alive with diagrams of human anatomy, detailed structures of lungs, blood vessels, airways. He felt his heart hammering. It was dangerous even to look at this. But he had no choice. He whispered to himself, if they are human, then human lungs might save them. He began sketching quickly on the console, merging old designs with modern tools. Artificial replacements, small and flexible, able to fit into their frail bodies. He would weave alien nanofibers into the structure to make them stronger. The work was madness, illegal, impossible, but it was the only hope. From the corner of his eye, he saw the older girl watching him. Her face was pale, but her eyes glowed with quiet trust. "You will fix her," she said softly. It was not a question. It was faith. The doctor forced a smile he did not feel. "Yes, I will." But inside, he knew one mistake would mean both of their deaths and his own. The hours dragged on. Tools sparked under his hands, metal clinked against glass, and sweat poured down his face. He worked in silence, pausing only to check the girl's weak breaths. Every few minutes he thought he heard footsteps outside the bay. Every hum of the station felt like a warning. At last, he held the prototype in his hands. A pair of artificial lungs, small, silver, pulsing faintly with borrowed energy. They were crude, unfinished, and untested, but they were real. He looked at the fragile child on the bed. Her lips were blue, her chest rising and falling with painful slowness. There was no time left. He prepared the surgical bed, adjusting the sterile shields, locking the doors, and silencing the alarms. His hands hovered above her small chest, fear pressing hard against his ribs. To save her, he would have to remove what was killing her. He would have to take out the implants and replace them with his creation. The older girl clung to his coat. "Please, don't let her go." "I won't," he whispered. though his voice trembled. He began. The tools cut softly, the machines guiding his every move. He worked with careful precision, pulling aside damaged tissue, tracing the alien wires that had been buried in her body. His hands shook as he clipped them one by one, pulling out fragments of cruel experiments. The child whimpered, her body twitching, but the anesthetic held. Then finally he saw it. The broken lungs, fragile and failing, unable to hold air. He removed them gently, his breath shallow as if he might break them with one wrong move. The empty space inside her chest stared back at him. For a moment he felt the weight of it, life or death balanced on his hands. He slid the artificial lungs into place. They settled against her body, wires linking with her blood vessels, nanofibers bonding to tissue. He sealed them carefully, praying silently to gods he did not believe in. The machines beeped, searching for signs of life. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3, then a gasp. The girl's chest rose sharply, her small body trembling. Her lips turned pink, her breathing smooth and steady. The doctor almost collapsed from relief. The older girl gasped too, tears rolling down her cheeks as she hugged her sister tightly. "You saved her," she cried. The doctor leaned back, his hands still shaking. He had done it. He had broken the law, touched forbidden knowledge, and saved a human child. But before he could rest, a sound pierced the silence, a voice cold metallic, coming through the station's intercom. "Attention. Galactic inspectors have entered orbit. Prepare for inspection." The doctor froze. His eyes darted to the girls. If they were found now, all of this, the surgery, the lungs, the secret, would be exposed. He whispered urgently to the older girl. "You must hide again. Both of you." She nodded quickly, helping her sister up. The younger one was weak but alive, her breathing steady for the first time. They clung to each other, ready to move. The doctor guided them back toward the hidden cargo hold. But as they reached the door, he felt it. A presence. Eyes watching, he spun, scanning the shadows. Someone was there. A figure lurking in the dark, silent, recording everything. A spy. The inspectors, agents were already here. The doctors. Blood turned to ice, and he knew his battle had only just begun. The sound of boots echoed in the distance, heavy, cold, precise. The inspectors had landed. Their arrival spread through the station like a silent storm. Crew members locked doors, machines powered down, and every corridor seemed to grow darker under their shadow. The doctor stood frozen near the cargo hold, his body tense. The girls clung to him, their small hands gripping his coat. He could still hear the whisper of the intercom repeating, "Prepare for inspection." The younger girl, weak but alive with her new lungs, leaned against her sister. Her breathing was steadier now, soft and smooth. The artificial lungs worked. But the doctor knew they could expose him. Inspectors had scanners that pierced through walls that read the truth hidden in blood and bone. He guided the girls inside the cargo hold. "Stay quiet," he whispered, lowering his voice to a hush. "Do not speak, do not move. No matter what you hear." The older girl nodded. Fear shone in her glowing eyes, but there was courage too. She held her sister close, pulling her deeper into the shadows between broken crates. The doctor shut the door, sealing them inside. His heart pounded as he turned back toward the corridor. That was when he saw it again, the figure watching him from the dark. The spy. It was a small, hunched worker he recognized from the maintenance crew. His eyes glimmered with greed, and in his hand he clutched a small recorder. The doctor stepped forward, anger burning in his chest. "You saw nothing," he whispered. The man sneered. "You think you can hide them? Inspectors pay well for forbidden secrets. A pair of human brats? That's worth more than your life." The doctor's fist clenched. He could not allow this man to speak. But before he could act, alarms blared across the station. "Inspection units deployed. All staff report for questioning." The spy grinned and bolted down the hall, vanishing into the maze of corridors. The doctor's breath caught. If that recording reached the inspectors, it was over. He ran. The halls were alive with shadows now. Dark armored inspectors moved in formation, their faces hidden behind masks, their weapons glowing with cold light. They questioned every worker, scanned every room, tore open every door. The doctor kept his head low, forcing himself to walk calmly as if he had nothing to fear. But inside, his chest was on fire. He had to reach the spy before the recording was delivered. He slipped into the maintenance tunnels, narrow shafts that twisted through the station's underbelly. His footsteps echoed on metal, his breath loud in his own ears. Somewhere ahead he heard the scuffle of boots. The spy was running. The chase had begun. The tunnel shook as inspectors moved above, their scanners sweeping like knives of light. The doctor pressed himself against walls, holding his breath as shadows passed over him. He crawled through vents, climbed ladders, every muscle burning with the effort. He could not fail. Then he saw the spy ahead, struggling to open a hatch. The man's recorder blinked with red light, transmitting. The doctor surged forward. He tackled the man, both of them crashing to the floor. The recorder skidded across the tunnel, sparking. The spy snarled, clawing at him. "They'll kill you for this." "Better me than you." The doctor slammed his hand against the spy's wrist, forcing him down. Desperation gave him strength he didn't know he had. With a final blow, he smashed the recorder against the wall, shattering it into useless pieces. Sparks lit the tunnel, then died. Silence. The spy groaned, defeated but still alive. The doctor stared at him, breathing hard. He wanted to finish it, to make sure the man could never speak. But his hands trembled. He was a healer, not a killer. He left the man in the shadows and ran. Above, the inspectors had grown restless. Their voices echoed through the station, sharp and commanding. "Sector 3 clear. Proceed to lower decks." The doctor's blood turned cold. They were heading for the cargo hold. He raced faster, heart pounding with every step. He reached the old doors and slipped inside. The girls were still there, hidden in the dark, their eyes wide as they saw him return. "They're coming," he whispered, pulling them close. "We must move." The older girl's hand tightened around his. "Where?" "Anywhere they cannot see." He guided them into the maintenance tunnels, the same paths he had chased the spy through. The air was tight, filled with dust, the metal groaning under their steps. The younger girl wheezed softly, her new lungs still fragile. He carried her in his arms, his muscles straining, while the older one followed close, silent as a shadow. Behind them, the inspectors spread through the cargo hold. Their scanners hummed, beams of light cutting through the dark. One of them stopped, his mask turning toward the hatch the doctor had just passed through. The chase was not over. It had only begun, the tunnels twisted, offering no safety. The doctor's mind raced. He could not keep running forever. If they were caught, the inspectors would see the truth. The girls would be taken, erased, and he would share their fate. Then as he turned a corner, the older girl whispered urgently, "Doctor." "Wait," he stopped. Her glowing eyes were fixed on the wall, on a faint symbol scratched into the metal. Her small fingers traced it with trembling certainty. "I've seen this before," she said softly. The doctor's breath caught. "Where?" "In the place where they made us." Her voice shook, but her words were sure. "It is a mark. A door." The doctor pressed his hand against the symbol. The wall hummed faintly. A hidden lock clicked, a secret passage. For the first time, a spark of hope lit his chest. Perhaps the girls carried more than just human blood. Perhaps they carried answers. But before he could think further, the sound of inspectors' boots thundered behind them. The tunnel glowed with scanning lights. The doctor pulled the girls into the hidden passage just as the inspectors rounded the corner. The wall sealed shut, leaving only silence. In the darkness, the girls clung to him, and the doctor's heart raced with a single truth. They had escaped. But the hunters were not far behind, and the girls' secret, the key to their creation, was only beginning to reveal itself. The hidden passage was narrow and dark, its walls humming faintly with old energy. The doctor carried the younger girl close to his chest while the older one walked beside him, her hand never leaving his coat. Their breaths echoed in the silence, mixing with the distant thrum of inspectors searching above. The tunnel seemed endless, but at last it opened into a chamber, round, metallic, forgotten by time. The air smelled of dust and rust, yet faint light still flickered along the walls. Strange symbols glowed faintly, the same kind the older girl had traced in the tunnel. The doctor lowered the younger one onto a flat surface, watching her breathing carefully. The artificial lungs worked, but she was still weak. He turned to the older girl. "You've seen this place before?" She nodded slowly, her eyes fixed on the symbols. "Yes, when we were small, before they threw us away." Her words cut into him like a blade. She was only a child, yet she spoke of being discarded like broken tools. He studied the walls, tracing the markings. They were not random. They told a story, a project, a creation. His stomach twisted as realization struck. This chamber had been part of the experiment. The place where the girls were made, the older one whispered again. They said, "We were keys." The doctor turned sharply. Keys to what? Her glowing eyes met his. To humans. For a moment, silence pressed down on him like the weight of space itself. Keys. These children were not only forbidden hybrids, they were designed to unlock something greater. Perhaps a secret long buried or a weapon the galaxy had tried to erase. The younger girl stirred, her small voice weak. "Doctor." He leaned close. "Yes?" Her tiny hand reached up, touching his face. "Don't let them take us, promise." His chest ached. He nodded firmly. "I promise." Before he could say more, the chamber shook. Dust rained from the ceiling. A metallic voice echoed faintly through the walls. "Scanners detect life signatures. Sector narrowing. Do not resist." The inspectors were closing in. The doctor's heart raced. He could not run forever. They would tear through the tunnels, through the chamber until they found the girls. And when they did, nothing would save them. He looked at the walls again. If this place had created them, perhaps it could protect them. He pressed his hands against the symbols, desperate. Lights flickered. A hidden console slid open. Strange words appeared, half human, half alien. His eyes scanned them quickly and his heart froze. Human genome archive locked. Access requires organic key. The doctor's breath caught. The children were not just survivors. They were the keys to unlocking the last memory of humanity. If the inspectors found this, they would destroy it. Humanity would vanish forever. He turned to the older girl, his voice urgent. "You must choose. If you touch this console, it will open. But once it opens, everyone will know. The inspectors will see. They will hunt you without end." Her small face tightened with fear. "But if we don't, it is lost?" "Yes," the doctor whispered. "Lost forever." Silence hung heavy. The younger girl's breathing filled the room, fragile but steady. The older one stepped closer to the console, her tiny hand trembling. "Doctor," she whispered, "if humans are gone, maybe we are the last." Tears burned his eyes. He wanted to protect them, to keep them hidden, safe, alive. But she was right. If they did nothing, the last trace of humanity would die in the dark. She pressed her hand against the console. Light exploded across the chamber. Symbols raced along the walls, glowing brighter and brighter. The air trembled with power. The inspectors outside roared commands, their boots pounding closer. The doctor shielded the girls as the console opened fully, revealing a hologram. A figure appeared, human, tall, eyes burning with sorrow and pride. A recording from the past. The hologram spoke. "If you are seeing this, it means the children survived. Humanity is not gone. We hid fragments of ourselves in them so the galaxy could never erase us fully. They are the beginning of what is left. Protect them. Through them, humanity will rise again." The doctor's breath caught. The truth was here, alive in front of him, but the walls shook violently. Inspectors broke through the outer doors, their weapons glowing, their voices cold. "Step away. Forbidden archive detected. All subjects will be erased." The doctor stood tall, his body shielding the children. His voice was steady, though fear burned inside him. "If they are human, then so am I, and I will not let you erase them." The inspectors raised their weapons. The older girl's hand gripped the doctor's sleeve. "Don't be afraid. We are not alone anymore." In that moment, the hologram spread across the station, broadcasting itself into the void. Every ship, every outpost, every hidden ear in the galaxy saw the truth. Humanity lived. Humanity endured. Humanity was not erased. The inspectors froze, their authority crumbling as whispers rose across the channels. The law had been broken by truth itself. The doctor pulled the girls close as light from the hologram filled the chamber. Whatever came next, punishment, rebellion, or freedom, the galaxy would never be the same. And for the first time in centuries, the future of humanity rested not in armies or empires, but in the hands of two small children, and the doctor who chose to protect them.